We Will Carry Each Other is one of the theme songs for this month. I am looking for shelter in a friend. We can build a beginning, but I do not know the end. I am scared of breaking when I bend. We will carry each other on the way. My courage is your courage when the journey is only getting longer. My strength is your strength. We will carry each other on the way. There are prayers I don't know how to say, but I still find solace when I close my eyes to pray. What I've lost and what I hope can stay. We will carry each other on the way. My courage is your courage when the journey is only getting longer. My strength is your strength. We will carry each other on the way. I am full and I am running out. I'm a flooding river and I'm living through the drought. I have firm conviction and my heart is full of doubt. We will carry each other on the way. My courage is your courage when the journey is only getting longer. My strength is your strength. We will carry each other on the way. There are people I have never met. There is something special and I haven't found it yet. There's abundance given freely, taken with no debt. We will carry each other on the way. My courage is your courage when the journey is only getting longer. My strength is your strength. We will carry each other on the way. Let's do that again. My courage is your courage when the journey is only getting longer. My strength is your strength. We will carry each other on the way. We will carry each other on the way.
Good morning, and welcome to our Neighborhood Unitarian Universalist service. Thank you for joining us, whether you are here in person, on Zoom, or watching a recording of us in the future. If you are joining us for the first time, know that you are welcome here, as is everyone seeking a spiritual community. Our mission at Neighborhood is to empower spiritual growth and shared action for the care of our world. My name is Gordon Thorne, and I'll be your service weaver this morning. I'm filling in for Kurt Thompson, who is sick this morning. I welcome our special guest speaker, the Rev Stephen Atkinson, who is filling in while Reverend Sally had this Sunday off. The Reverend Atkinson has enjoyed speaking with us in the past, and we are happy he's here again with us this week. It's also Suzanne Mazar's week off, so we're blessed to have Alan Gosser with us to share in presenting music. Alan Gosser is an experienced conductor, choirist, singer, church musician, and teacher, and has been a friend of Neighborhood, singing with us before and with the Georgian Trio. Now, I think you can agree that despite so many people off, that the level of experience and grace that brings today's team to you is impressive. You could say that we have a A-team of B-team. Some housekeeping first. For those of us in person, please remember to be aware of the various needs and boundaries of one another while we are gathered together, honoring our mask-required seating section, keeping aisles open for mobility devices, and only taking pictures with permission. We are a community of many ages and abilities, which means we embrace whatever little noises or distractions come with being together, and the creaking floor is added music for the service. We are committed to a love that makes space for all. If you have a phone or other device that can be silenced, I'm going to do that right now. I invite you to do that unless you need it in order to access and participate in the service. If you need hearing assistance, Carlos has assisted listening devices at the sound desk. Please know that our services are usually about 90 minutes long, so if there's anything you need to do to make yourself more comfortable in the space, sit, stand, stretch, pace, fidget, get a glass of water, please feel free to do so at any point. That includes going into the wiggle room, which is the door at the back to the left there, or my left, where there's some toys and a comfy couch, or to the activity table where we have art supplies and a kinetic sandbox. If you're new and would like us to keep in touch, please fill out a newcomer card with your contract information and leave it in the offering plate when we pass it around at the end of service. The newcomer cards are in the back of the chair backs. Whoever you are, wherever you are in your relationship to belief, spirituality, and this community, we are glad you are here today. In a moment, it will be time to greet your neighbors. After you've greeted a few neighbors, turn to the camera at the back wall and offer a greeting to those joining us virtually, and that includes Kurt, so give him a wave. You'll hear a chime to signal the end of greeting time. Now, take a moment to greet your neighbors.
Always a pleasure.
Thank you all. I start by acknowledging that the Mississaugas of the Credit First Nation are the treaty holders of this land, and that the Wendat and the Haudenosaunee Confederacy lived here before me and are living here now together with other First Nations, Métis, and Inuit. As I greet you today, I acknowledge this land, the people, and all other beings, animate and inanimate, today as well as the ancestors. This area has been a place of communities coming together for over 15,000 years. Now, I invite you to join me in reading our invocation. Let us cast the circle of a sacred space here. Let us cast the circle of a cherished space here. A space of safety, a place of forgiveness, a place of love. If we want the world to change, we must craft in our space and in ourselves the seeds that grow a different kind of life. A life of graciousness, of creative intelligence, a place of life and spirit for ourselves and our families. This morning I've asked Joan Pennings to come up and light our chalice for us. Instead of lighting it anew, Joan is going to take the light from the children's flame and use that to light the neighborhood's chalice. This practice honors each child as a vital part of our community and reminds us that our own inner child is worthy of attention and care. So, join me in singing our chalice lighting song. We light this chalice to remember, to light the fire within our own hearts. Thank you, Joe. Alan?
I had a couple of choices of songs to bring this Sunday for this spot that had rainbows in them. And when I mentioned the first one, Suzanne said at the meeting, "Oh, Beverly Glenn Copeland was with us on Sunday." I'm using the name that I learned 25 years ago, and I'm practicing understanding the many names that the singer goes by and has gone by. I heard a concert here in the other space in December. I don't know how many were here for that. The magic is still there that I encountered on Philosopher's Walk, a freezing December evening in memory of the victims of the Montreal Massacre. Lone person without a hat, singing the most amazing song that lodged in my heart and won't let go. We're going to sing two halves of it, and if we're lucky, they'll fit together like magic. So we start with the Honey Don't Cry part, which I think you'll be able to pick up and sing when I sing the other half. So you get one chance to sing it with me, then I'll sing the first half, then I'll sing the first half again, and you'll sing the second half. We'll see how it goes. Good luck. 2, 3. Honey, don't cry, baby, don't cry. We all come together in the by and by. That's what the soul dreams of. Honey, don't cry, baby, don't cry. We all come together in the by and by. That's what the soul dreams of. Second half like the first. Honey, don't cry, baby, don't cry. We all come together in the by and by, pulled to the heart of love. At the twilight's ending, in the fields where the rainbow's open, you know we all expect to see you. When to dust we've fallen, and the earth repeats her passage, there will still be love. At the twilight's ending, in the fields where the rainbow's open, you know we all expect to see you. When to dust we've fallen, and the earth repeats her passage, there will still be love. At the twilight's ending, in the fields where the rainbow's open, you know we all expect to see you. When to dust we've fallen, and the earth repeats her passage, there will still be love. Thank you.
Every month we are using one of the 8 principles as a theme. This month we are beginning our exploration of the second Unitarian Universalist principle, justice, equity, and compassion in human relations. Sometimes we get a bit lost in our fight for equity and justice. They're important ideals worthy of fighting for, but they are more than ideals. Justice and equity are rooted in compassion. Knowing and feeling the pain of another, walking a mile in their shoes, is what makes us realize that we need equity and justice. It is what connects us with our humanity. In the words of the Dalai Lama, if you want others to be happy, practice compassion. If you want to be happy, practice compassion. The topic of compassion is not at all religious business. It is important to know it is human business. It is a question of human survival. So on that note, I'll pass it to Alan again to fill the room with song.
This is one of the theme songs for this month, and Suzanne gave me an assignment that I love, introducing a song that people might not know. I'm not scared at all by that. Honestly, I'm not. What I'm going to do eventually is sing the song line by line, but what I'm going to do at the very beginning is just give you a gift. You get to sit still and listen to the beautiful melody of it, unwind, and be ready to sing when the time comes. Sound okay? I hope so. Here's a little bit of it. Listen first and repeat it afterwards. When the winds around you blow, take my hand. Try that. When the winds around you blow, take my hand. When the raging waters flow, I'll help you to land. And we'll go together into the great unknown. Shelter for each other, compassion as our home. And we'll be known by our love. We'll be known by our love. From the beginning, let's do it. When the winds around you blow, take my hand. When the raging waters flow, I'll help you to stand. And we'll go together into the great unknown. Shelter for each other, compassion as our home, and we'll be known for our love. We'll be known by our love. When you're fearful, when you're blue, don't despair. When the world gives up on you, I'll be there, and we'll go together into the great unknown. Shelter for each other, compassion as our home, and we'll be known by our love. We'll be known by our love. We'll be known by our love. We'll be known by our love.
Hello. My name is Kat. My pronouns are she, they, and I'm the Director of Children, Youth, and Families here. If you don't know me, I just started in January. I'm here with my friends. We're gonna introduce ourselves quickly.
I'm Delphine. My pronouns are she, her. And this is Annika. Her pronouns are she, her.
I'm Zizi, and my pronouns are he, him.
Okay. Thank you so much for introductions. Let me just get my notes here. All right, so Today, as you can see on your seats, we're gonna play compassion bingo. So in Unitarian Universalism, we talk about principles, but they're not just words on a wall, right? They're promises that we try to live by. And when we affirm the inherent worth and dignity of every person, compassion is how we practice it. When we work towards justice, equity, and compassion in human relations, compassion is the engine that drives it. When we commit to acceptance of one another and encouragement to spiritual growth, compassion is what makes that safe and real. And when we believe in the interdependent web of all existence, compassion reminds us that what happens to one of us touches all of us. So today's bingo card is exactly about those moments in our lives. So on your cards, you'll see squares like spoke up for someone, apologize when I was wrong, show kindness to myself. And I want you to actually really think deeply. Did I actually do these things? Because it's easy to think, well, yeah, of course I'm kind to myself, but were you really, truly kind to yourself? Did you take the time of day to take a second and reflect? Did you take a bath? Did you actually go for that walk? Did you really eat that chocolate cake that you said you couldn't have? You know? Take those moments for yourself. Were you really kind? So as I read them, well, actually, as Delphine reads them, mark the ones that are true for you, not the ones that you truly wish were true for you. So in the front of you or in the back of you, you'll see a pen. So just mark off the ones that are, again, true for you, the honest ones. Because compassion isn't perfect, it's practice. And here's the beautiful part. Every square you mark is evidence that justice doesn't only live in big marches or courtrooms, it lives in classrooms, in kitchens, in text messages, and how we treat each other on the hard days. And when you get bingo, that doesn't mean you've, quote, won. It means you're already participating in building a more loving and just world. You're just being you. So for those that get a bingo, shout bingo. And Zizi is going to bring you chocolate. There are Kit Kats, Aero, Coffee Crisp, and Smarties. If you don't wish to have a chocolate, that's okay. But those are the prizes for today. And of course, my friends, we're gonna have treats after as well, so don't worry about them. All right, so we're going to begin.
What time frame?
Time frame?
Within the last month?
Right. Let's do the last 6 months. Let's do the last 6 months. Make it a little broad. Not too broad. It was a fake bingo, but that's okay.
B, helped a neighbor.
So repeat it again, one more time. We're gonna repeat everything 2 times.
B, helped a neighbor. N, told someone I love them. N, told someone I love them. I changed my mind thoughtfully. I changed my mind thoughtfully. O, encourage someone to vote. O, encourage someone to vote. G volunteered this month.
All right.
Should I say it again? Yes. G volunteered this month.
All right. So let's just give a little shout out to our neighbor right now and our friend for having a bingo, for doing all of these things. Thank you so much for being a great you.
B stood up for someone. B stood up for someone. B apologized and meant it. B apologized and meant it. I read about social justice. I read about social justice. G learned about another culture. G learned about another culture. N welcomed someone new. N welcomed someone new. G practiced generosity. G practiced generosity. O shared accurate information.
Yay! Celebrate our neighbor. All right, we'll do one more bingo, and then I have one more announcement.
G checked on someone struggling, sorry. I said struggling.
Struggle, it's okay. Another bingo? Oh my gosh. There we go, double bingo. I mean, single bingo, double bingo, you know. We love it, okay. Good job, friends. Thank you so much for joining us for our bingo today. All right, my friends, you can go sit down. Thank you so much, and we'll go have some chocolate after. All right, so thank you so much for joining on the bingo game. So I encourage you and I invite you to think critically about this bingo game. Yes, it's just a game, but is it just a game? So before we head into coffee and conversation at the end of the service, I want to offer a small invitation. We're going to be talking about compassion today, which is not just a feeling, but it's a practice. It's a way of living our Unitarian Universalist principles out loud. And compassion is how we affirm inherent worth and dignity. Compassion is how we build justice and equity. Then compassion also needs community. Right after the service, while everyone's chatting and munching, we'll be having a short informal Q&A with myself. For anyone who feels curious about joining a committee with me for the Rainbow Room or volunteering for the Rainbow Room. So the Rainbow Room is one way to embody radical welcome, safety, and celebration for all families in our community. It's compassion with structure and love with action. So you don't have to commit to anything today. That's not what I'm asking of you. It's just simply to ask questions, to be interested. See if your heart nudges you a certain way. So if compassion has been tugging at you this morning at all, maybe this is one small next step for yourself. So I'd love to have you join me at the end of the service. It's only going to be maybe about 30 to 45 minutes, and it's just an open invitation. So thank you so much.
Well, good morning. It's occurring to me that this feels a little bit like a Sesame Street episode in which you're going to hear about the lesson 15 different times and ways so that at the end you really have learned it. Because we're all talking about compassion and what compassion is, and that is great. Those of you who were here about a year ago may remember that I spoke about the second principle then as well. And because I'm no smarter than I was a year ago, I'm actually going to start by quoting myself. It strikes me that it's so Unitarian to start off with the big words and then get simpler and more direct. The second principle starts off with justice. Who really knows what justice means, even though we talk about it so often? What does it really mean? And then comes equity, which we might which we might mix up with equality, but it really means fairness. And that's easier idea than justice. And then we get to compassion, the only one that refers to a feeling, meaning it's more immediate. I believe that we put it backwards. It should read compassion, equity, and justice in human relations. And when we begin to live on the basis of our first principle, the inherent worth and dignity of every person, then we begin to develop a sense of connectedness, of fellow feeling, of empathy, and even sympathy with each person we come across. We begin to look past the obvious differences and even to imagine how we would be in the other person's situation. By doing this, we are drawn into living according to the second principle, if we think of it as beginning with compassion. So that's the end of the quote. And last year I focused on equity, and this year, in case you haven't guessed, it's compassion. But the most common question about compassion is how different is it from sympathy and empathy, if it is different at all. And I checked with Kurt. I'm going to refer to him a couple of times this morning. He wanted me to be absolutely sure to make this distinction, which he has spoken about here in the first place. So thanks, Kurt, for reinforcing that that's a good thing to do. Now, we have every right to be confused about sympathy, empathy, compassion, because actually out there are different and contradictory ideas about that. Although compassion is the more agreed upon of the three. Now, I found a Buddhist website called Compassion It. It's the word compassion plus it.com. And they claim that empathy means that you feel what another person feels. And then they say that sympathy means that you can understand what another person is feeling. And we'll get to compassion in a minute. But a different site, reporting research results within the large network of American National Institutes of Health websites, declares the opposite. And this research is about the understanding of these terms with healthcare providers in a hospice setting compared to the patients in a hospice setting. Now, they present sympathy this way: an unwanted pity-based response, a shallow and superficial emotion-based a shallow and superficial emotion based on self-preservation, an unhelpful and misguided reaction to suffering. Well then, we've been told. On the other hand, in their view, empathy engages suffering, connects to and understands the person. It's emotional resonance, putting yourself in the other person's shoes. In my years working in psychiatry and chaplaincy, not to mention parish ministry, I use the term empathy, more like these healthcare researchers. Sympathy is feeling what another person feels, and empathy is understanding what the other person's feelings are. Now, if this is confusing, you might simply think about the fact that there are cards out there for sympathy, a sympathy card. I feel your pain. But there aren't any empathy cards out there. If there were, they'd probably be about this thick, page after page of describing how I understand you. And for what it's worth, when I am caring for somebody with sympathy, there's nothing wrong with sympathy, as long as I neither feel the person so much I can't be helpful, like they're crying, but snot is running down my nose, nor that I'm assuming that I know exactly how they feel. Those are pitfalls of sympathy. As we mature in our ability to be present to each other, we develop empathy in the sense of being with them, understanding what they're going through, while keeping on top of our own similar feelings. And I want again to refer to something I said last year that I now think was inaccurate, or just say wrong. I claimed that the current thinking is that infants are born with an innate capacity for compassion, that's what I said, in the sense that we naturally respond to the expressions of other people's on their faces. Now I realize that infants are born with reflexes to sympathy, meaning that as infants, we feel what those around us are actually feeling. Imagine one baby crying in a nursery. What happens to all the other babies? They're all crying. They're feeling each other's, whatever the woe is that's causing them to cry. Not to mention the totally distressed parent who can't calm their baby, and all the other parents around feeling distressed for them and thanking goodness that it's not their baby crying. That's sympathy. Then by the age of about 18 months, children learn to express empathy, meaning they begin to show concern for others through their facial expressions, gestures, and vocalizations towards comforting another. So now, one toddler cries, and another shows a look of concern, while the other parents know what that feels like and wish they could help. Note that infants learn empathy. It's not innate. It's learned from those around them, being empathic to them. And of course, this is where things can fall down in terms of early infant development, but that's another whole story. Infants learn empathy, and having received it, we know what it is, or at least what it's like, and then can pass it on. Research shows that receiving and giving empathy as toddlers is among the very first pro-social or relationship-directed behavior that's directed outside the parent-child bond. So empathy is the beginning of entering into community. So now we get to compassion. Now, both of those two websites I mentioned agree that compassion goes beyond feeling like or with the other person, towards assisting them in some specific way. So now we say one 4-year-old cries, and another child goes over to hug them. Taking some action based on empathy is great for those of us who shy away from, say, awkwardly sitting with someone who's sad. Instead, we can go with them to the funeral home, or bring them a casserole, or shovel their driveway. Compassion requires some kind of time commitment and action. The way we want to be in our relationships with other people is better begun with the impulse to feel empathy, to recognize others as more like ourselves than different. The impulse becomes infused with our gratitude for all that we have and desire for others. Then it overflows, and we want to do something. We begin to feel compassion for many others and to feel strongly about the welfare of the group. Compassion calls us to figure out how to help. Now, what if we had a more compassionate world? Thinking especially of what's going on outside of our country and outside of our community and outside of these walls, what if we had a more compassionate world? What if people of all faiths took a hard look at their original teachings to find broad, common precepts and values? Minus the pride of certainty and the lust for entitlement. What if pride and superiority of all kinds were fought against instead of puffing up needy egos? What if everyone practiced self-examination in humility, developing consciousness of privilege? What if we had honest conversations with those who are or appear different from us, rehearsing the true communication of speaking honestly and listening carefully? What if we freely shared resources according to fair principles, finding self-esteem in how we are regarded rather than for what we own? What if the classes of too rich and too poor were eliminated? And we could keep going on with what ifs if we had a more compassionate world. Although among us UUs, there are instances and even forces that interfere with our compassion with each other. Within our congregations and in our relations with the outside, we do hold to ideas and aims that define, encourage, and push us towards better values and higher principles. When we adopted the 8th principle to affirm and promote individual and communal action that accountably dismantles racism and systemic barriers to full inclusion in ourselves and institutions, when we adopted that 8th principle, we reaffirmed our commitment to this 2nd principle, compassion, equity, and justice, and we put the action in there that compassion requires. This community shows compassion in more ways than I can know, but just from coming and observing and worshiping with you, I see that your facilities provide a way for those with physical challenges to enter and take your place among us. You think of ways for families to take part, including parents and children. You encourage those of you who come here regularly to greet and extend your warmth to those who've never been here before. You take time to share and acknowledge the milestones or significant moments that arise among you. And you make it easy for anyone who cares to participate in that part of the service. Now, Kurt agreed to let me use him as an example of how you allow and invite and develop and make use of the talents of people with different abilities to provide leadership and participation in your community. And you express compassion outside of here as well. I've regularly been astounded by how many ways you participate in the world around you, in your neighborhood especially, but further than that as well. And you do that so much for a small but mighty community. This is truly a compassionate community. The world around us, around you, and around what's around you, and further away than that, it all yearns for compassion. And you and we do our bit to provide that by taking action. Now today, instead of having a closing for this message, we're going to close it together, doing a responsive reading that's in the gray hymnal. It's also going to be on this slide. It's number 464, and it's written by Judy Chicago of the Dinner Party. Some of you I have actually seen that in a museum. And she wrote these words. I'll read the plain text and you can join if you care to and are able to read the italics. And then all that has divided us will merge. And then softness will come to a world that is harsh and unkind. And then all people will be strong. And then all will be rich and free and varied. And then the greed of some will give way to the needs of many. And then all will share equally in the earth's abundance. And then all will care for the sick and the weak and the old. And then all will nourish the young. And then all will cherish life's creatures. And then all will live in harmony with each other and the earth. And then everywhere we all even once again. And we make it so.
I wonder if any of you have heard of or seen the astonishing, strange movie, The Testament of Anne Lee.
Yes.
Yeah. It's a movie musical, but it's not like any movie musical that you've ever seen before. And I had a large burden of expectation about the way they would use music because I've been singing Shaker music ever since my honeymoon. Yeah, irony. So this is a song that's kind of woven throughout the movie. I think it happens a couple times. It certainly seemed like it was present all the way through. And it gets whipped up into a kind of a loud rock and roll movie music thing that I did not understand until the person that went with me the second time told me, maybe people don't understand dancing and singing unless it's loud and ecstatic like a rave. So if you want to, you can imagine this song getting whipped up into a rave, but it's probably not going to sound all that much rave-like. I quite often sing Shaker songs without words, and I'll give you the melody without any words. And if we want, we can continue singing after the words in an inner way. Lo-do-lo, 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 lo-do-lum. Lo-do-lo, 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 lo-do-lum. Lo-do-lo, lo-do-lo, lo-de-lo, 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 lo-lo, lo-de-lo, 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 lo-de-lo. Oh, the beautiful treasures laid up for the wise. How precious the value, how glorious the prize. Far brighter than diamonds on prince's brow, and richer than royalty can bestow. Oh, the beautiful treasure laid up for the wise. Oh, the beautiful treasures provided by God and promised good people who follow the word, and streams of sweet mercy shall bring them home to rest from the sorrowful paths they roam. Oh, the beautiful treasure provided by God. Lo-de-lo, 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 lo-de-lum. Lo-de-lo, 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 lo-de-lum. Lo-de-lo, 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 lo-lo, lo-de-lo, 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 lo-lo, lo-de-lo, 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 lo-de-lo.
Now let's take a moment after that lovely music and the lovely words of the music to center in ourselves and find compassion and peace within ourselves. Start by simply settling into your seat in the most comfortable way, allowing gravity to hold you up. Relaxing down into the power of the earth calling you. Becoming aware of the breath going into your nostrils and deep into your lungs and out again. Careful, pleasant breathing. Allowing thoughts to enter and float out of your mind like ticker tape you do not have to read. Creating mental space and feeling space and heart space. And these words by Ralph Waldo Emerson. We have a great deal more kindness than is ever spoken. The whole human family is bathed with an element of love, like a fine ether. How many persons we meet in houses whom we scarcely speak to, whom yet we honor, and who honor us. How many we see in the street or sit with in church, whom, though silently, we warmly rejoice to be with. Read the language of these wandering eye-beams. The heart knoweth. And bringing ourselves back into the room, into community. We rejoice to be together. And part of being together is sustaining this community. And Lillian has sent me some words to read today before we have a pledge testimonial. So Neighborhood, this congregation, is currently in its annual pledge campaign season, a time when members and friends are invited to reflect on the financial support they hope to offer Neighborhood this year. As part of this campaign, a few members will share brief reflections about what pledging means to them. And today we're pleased to hear from Moira McDonald, a dedicated Neighborhood member since 2004. Moira.
Good morning, everybody. I wrote down some words that went into the newsletter a couple of weeks ago, so if you want to see that, check out your newsletter that comes through the email. I decided this morning I'll just kind of summarize it under 3 themes, and that is practice, connection, and challenge. So, yes, I've been a member here for a long time, and I could talk to you about all the things that Neighborhood has given me in terms of sort of material or semi-material things. I met my mate here, David, who is not online, but you're out there somewhere, David, in Niagara Land. So I've made many friends. I have had my spiritual leader, minister, walk with me through hardship with family and people dying and saying goodbye to them, all those sorts of things, program for my once young child, now still younger than me, but he's a young man now. But when it comes to practice, my pledging I view as a practice. I said in my remarks in the emailed newsletter that we covenant here to give what we can, both monetarily and through our volunteering, our service. And so pledging is part of that for me. And also simply the practice of parting with something that in our society has a lot of value and brings up a lot of emotions and feelings for many of us. I kind of joke that I was the kid who I excelled at the marshmallow test. I hung on to the marshmallow for as long as possible before eating it. I'm a saver. I hang on to things. So giving is a practice for me of letting go of something that can be hard to let go of. Connection through my giving, it is a practice of connection with this community, because here in this room, and those who weren't here at service today but who are part of our community, we are it. This is it. This is all that we have in terms of sustaining ourselves. So my pledging is a way to make my commitment that yes, I will give, and already helps me feel more connected to the community and connected to the people who are yet to come here. Because the day that I arrived here at Neighborhood back in 2004, I hadn't put a penny in the basket, but many other people had before I had even known about Neighborhood, and so I'm grateful for that. Yeah, I spoke about challenge. It's hard to part with things. It's not a great economy right now for a lot of people. But I think the ask here is not primarily give a lot. It is give what you can. And the big ask is please just pledge. Put something down. They've made it so easy. I love the Gmail, the Google form that they put out this year. And as soon as I got it, I filled it out right away. So that's done. It's done. And this morning, March 1st, my phone gave me a notification. It said, it's March 1st. Move this much money to Neighborhood. Hala's got it in her email. She'll find it tomorrow. And then we will plug along with some energy that we call money. So that's my story. Please pledge. Just make a commitment, and then we go from there together, connected.
If, like me, you need a hymnal, I found mine on the shelf over there, but if you got it memorized, I'll try to lead you on your way. There's a lot of words. For all that is our life, we sing our thanks and praise. For all life is a gift which we are called to use to build the common good and make our own days glad. For needs which others serve, for services we give, for work and its rewards, for hours of rest and love, we come with praise and thanks for all that is our life. For sorrow we must bear, for sorrow we must bear, for failures, pain, and loss, for each new thing we learn, for fearful hours that pass, we come with praise and thanks for all that is our life. For all that is our life, we sing our thanks and praise. For all life is a gift which we are called to use to build the common good and make our own days glad.
You may be seated. Thanks for slogging through that. We didn't have a chance to get it onto the slides this morning, so I appreciate that. Now is the time for our offering. Sharing of ourselves is part of every faith. Volunteer efforts are essential, but rent and salaries are paid and programs created by your contributions. Members of Neighborhood choose a variety of different ways, either through offerings in the basket. They also do pre-authorized withdrawals from the bank. Whether you're online or here in the sanctuary, you can use the link displayed on the screen, which leads you to our donation page on our website. In all ways, we ask you to be generous. If you have found love and acceptance here, if you have found home here, if you have known kindred spirits here, let this offering be a token of gratitude for our common life as we build the common good. And then while the greeters pass the baskets around, I'm just going to go through the life of our community, which is announcements of things that are happening in our community. Lifespan Learning meets today. Kat was talking about that during the Time for All Ages. It's a chance to meet her and relate any inspirational ideas for Lifespan Learning to use. So just grab a coffee and snacks and then join Kat in the Rainbow Room after service. Stitch and Enrich is going to be happening Thursday, March 5th and the 19th, and then on into April in the Cappuccino Room. So come and create together. The International Women's Day Rally in March is this coming Saturday, 11 o'clock for the rally, 1 o'clock for the march at the Oisey Auditorium downtown. I'm sure, is there anybody that's going to be?
And Reverend Sally's coming too.
Yeah, that will be good.
Join us.
Happy Ukulele Club. Come learn, play, and grow. All levels are welcome. And they have ukuleles on loan if you would like. So March 8th from 2 to 4, the 22nd and April 19th from 2 to 4. Any questions? You can talk to Denise. Is Denise here? No, okay. Ways to tackle food insecurity. On March 12th from 7:30 to 9 in Rafos Hall, which is where we are at the moment. Join us for a discussion on ways to tackle food insecurity. There'll be a Q&A at the end, and you can ask questions and explore solutions together. Come gather around a summer camp-inspired movement service. The movement services are services that we have on Saturdays, a number of times a year. The next one will be at 3 o'clock on March 14th. So a little bit different in the afternoon instead of the evening. Doors open at 2:30, 3 o'clock for the service. There'll be snacks and then the free ecstatic dance afterwards. Next week, Sunday service will be A Woman's Place is in the Pulpit. The speaker will be our own Reverend Sally. Music will be provided by Suzanne and friends, and the service weaver will be Moira. And our next... Sorry?
We have talent night on Saturday.
Oh. Then join us on Saturday. Oh, right. Does Lily want to? Oh, yeah, there you are.
Just a quick update on our pledge campaign. We are 70% to goal of 100% participation. Amazing. We're doing so well. 3 weeks left to go. I think we can do it. So if you're ready to make your pledge, you know where to find me after service. And thank you to everyone who's already made your pledge. We are giving away some books to help inspire you guys to think about what we want to see in our next chapter. So our winner this week is, drumroll please, next slide. Beate. Amazing. So you can come pick out your book after service.
Thanks, Lillian. And as always, there's more information and more life in the community, and you can find it on the screen in the Cappuccino Room or in the weekly mailings that come out from the office. So. Alan.
The Nobel Prize for Love goes to us. We'll be known by our love, which we learned earlier, and we get to enjoy singing this time. When the winds around you blow, take my hand. When the raging waters flow, I'll help you to land, and we'll go together in our love will be known by our love. When you're fearful, when you're blue, don't despair. When the world gives up on you, I'll still be there, and we'll go together into the great unknown, shelter for each other, compassion as our home, and we'll be known by our love. We'll be known by our love. We'll be known by our love. We'll be known by our love.
I'm going to ask you to stay standing and invite Joan back up again to extinguish our chalice.
Although our chalice has been darkened, we hold the fire within our own hearts.
I see you've all taken the cue, and now as we move to the end of our sacred time and open our circle to the outside world, you are taking your neighbor's hand or touching their shoulder or touching elbows, connecting physically as we have spiritually. Today, Reverend Stephen will bless us as we exit the open circle to our daily lives.
This is a reading from Lifting Our Voices, a poem by William Stafford. Will you ever bring a better gift for the world than the breathing respect you carry wherever you go right now? Are you waiting for time to show you some better thoughts? When you turn around, starting here, lift this new glimpse that you found. Carry into evening all that you want from this day. This interval you spent reading or hearing this, keep it for life. What can anyone give you greater now, starting here, right in this room, when you turn around? Blessed be.
The circle is now open. Go in peace and love.